Hello. Yes, this is a video that is going onto the internet. My name is Nikki, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. James Charles did an oopsie. What else can I say? In case you haven't heard, recently James Charles got exposed on TikTok and Twitter by a 16-year-old boy. Why did James Charles get exposed? Well, let's just say that James Charles added this 16-year-old boy who happened to be his fan on Snapchat. When he added this 16-year-old boy on Snapchat, he proceeded to send him explicit images as well as sending him inappropriate conversation. I don't think I need to explain to you how inappropriate and disgusting that is. Though I might add that there are two sides to the story, but I am more inclined to believe one than the other, and that is just my opinion. I'm just going to say that I am more inclined to believe the victim in this situation, obviously being the minor. James Charles is a 21-year-old man sending nudes to a minor. That's straight up illegal. There's nothing else to say. One side has evidence, and one side is a notes app on Twitter. Make your judgment. I'm not going to delve too deep into the actual James Charles situation. Instead, I decided I want to make a video and kind of inspired by the situation. I know that sounds kind of bad, but this situation just kind of reminded me the importance of the safety of minors on social media, because I feel like it truly isn't talked about enough. If someone as big as James Charles, 20 million-ish subscribers, makeup artist on YouTube, behind closed doors, can be doing this on Snapchat to minors, I think it's important to talk about it. Because imagine if these victims didn't speak up about their experiences. Imagine what else James Charles would be doing. I just think it's important to discuss this. I think a topic to start with the situation is James Charles is claiming that he didn't know that the 16-year-old boy was a 16-year-old boy. He claimed that he said that he was 18. Whether that is true or not doesn't matter. I think I just need to make that very clear. The adult in this situation is responsible for knowing who they are talking to. If that means you need to ask everybody for ID, so be it, James. But that's your responsibility. You're the adult in the situation, and you need to be in charge of who you're talking to. Whether they lie or not, what you're doing is illegal. The law doesn't care whether or not you did or didn't know. The act is illegal. And that goes for so many things. Have you seen Chris Hansen before? Have you seen his show and what he does? These predators claim that they didn't know. Oh, he said they were 18. Doesn't matter, James. That's your responsibility to know whether or not you were talking to a minor or not. And I'm hoping that you're not seeking out minors. I really hope that isn't the case, but at this point, I don't know. This isn't the first time that James Charles has been called out for speaking to minors, sending them nudes, and speaking to them in a very inappropriate way. A lot of people are saying, once it's a mistake, mistakes happen, you learn from them. But this is a consistent pattern, and it's a problem. And I know for a fact, the amount of time that I've been on the internet, that there are so many predators out there on the internet, and so many minors, and it's really scary to think about it. I'm sure that on YouTube alone, that there are more predators that are hiding and speaking to minors that we have no idea about. Whether or not James Charles actually meant to speak to a minor or not, who knows? It is still his responsibility, and it is still predatory what he has done. Not only was he speaking to a minor in an inappropriate way, he also was speaking to a fan, which is very clearly a power dynamic, and it's just not okay. James Charles is a big YouTuber. Like I said, he has a big platform, makeup artist. A lot of people look up to him. A minor cannot initiate a sexual conversation. Unfortunately, this does happen, but if this were to somehow happen by mistake, the adult needs to be in charge and say, this needs to stop, this is inappropriate, I cannot be talking to you. End of conversation. This should not be a debate at this point. Yes, we're all on social media of all different ages, but the adult needs to be in charge of who they are speaking to, and minors should not be able to freely speak to adults in suggestive ways. It's wrong. I believe that adults on the internet should go above and beyond to make sure that minors are safe on the internet. I believe if you're a YouTuber, you have a big audience, you have a lot of young fans, and you want to show how much you appreciate them, that's fine, but it needs to go no more than, oh, thank you so much, thanks for watching my videos. It should not go any farther than that, and it definitely should not be adding on Snapchat. Can we just be real for a second? Who uses Snapchat in a not sexual way? Who adds somebody on Snapchat and doesn't intend for it to be suggestive? I'm sorry. Especially if you're adding somebody that you found off of Instagram. It just makes no sense. A great example of an adult on the internet who doesn't know how to take responsibility for their poor actions is James Charles. In his tweet regarding the situation with a 16-year-old, he said that this said 16-year-old had an ulterior motive. I'm serious. Like, he said that in the notes app in the tweet that he had an ulterior motive. When I read this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Like, he's 16. You're 21 years old. Like I said, you're the adult. You added him on Snapchat. In the same tweet, the apology, James Charles said that he found this 16-year-old boy on his Explore page. He found him and proceeded to add him on Snapchat. How is that the minor's fault? James, you just admitted that you initiated this conversation, this very suggestive conversation, which has been proven by evidence. You just contradicted yourself. Like, you just proved that you're the one who initiated it. How could the 16-year-old boy have an ulterior motive when you're the one who added him on Snapchat? Was he just waiting around for you to just magically add him? Like, no, like, use your head. Like, I just don't. That's so obviously him trying to push blame onto the minor, which it's not his fault. Also, like I said, you add somebody on Snapchat, you know exactly what you're doing. I just feel bad for any minor on the internet that is just getting sent nudes and inappropriate conversations when they're just minding their own business. That's why I'm saying, I know social media platforms like Instagram, Snapchat doesn't really try that hard. TikTok is trying something. These social media platforms are starting the conversation that they know that there are predators, unfortunately, on these platforms. And they try to do a lot of safety precautions on the app in order to prevent these things. But unfortunately, this just keeps happening. Nothing's being prevented. Things are getting worse. Whether you know that who you are talking to is a minor or not, which you should know just by looking at them. Also, I saw this boy on TikTok. He very obviously looks young. If you are even having a bit of doubt in your mind about the age of someone you were talking to, you should not be talking to them. I've heard other people talk about that point, and it makes complete sense. If you are doubting their age, shouldn't be talking to them. As an adult, if you are sending nudes to a minor, you are traumatizing them. That's just how it is. You're traumatizing a teen, and that's disgusting. I'm just waiting for the day that these adults decide to stop being gross. When will I see the day? When will we see the day where this stops happening? It seems like every other week somebody's being exposed for speaking to somebody underage. Is it that hard to find somebody who wants your photos? I mean, these people are big and they decide to go for fans because there's something wrong with them. Like, clearly, if you can't get somebody your own age, like, there's a problem. I mean, am I the only one that thinks like that? Like, if you can't seem to get somebody your own age, it shows that you're not at the mental capacity to hold a legitimate relationship. Regardless of your poor dating life as an adult, don't drag minors into it. Thank you. What is that? Was that there the entire time? I need water. I'm becoming so passionate, I'm apparently flaring up. No, I don't know what that is. Like, seriously. I think adults, as well as minors, need to be careful on the internet. Adults need to be careful on the internet because they need to be aware of the social media platform that they are using and whether or not minors are possibly or are present on the platform that they are using, and they should accommodate accordingly. Minors are taught pretty much their whole life growing up on social media, me included. I'm Gen Z. being that they need to not share their personal information, not share photos, don't talk to strangers, all that stuff. Minors aren't developed enough in their brain to be able to think long term. So they're going to make poor choices when they're young, which is bound to happen. And because we know that minors are bound to make poor choices on the internet, adults need to be responsible and, in a way, protect these minors from predators. Be able to read the signs that there's something inappropriate going on between an adult on the internet and a minor on the internet. If it's ever seen, call it out, because it's not okay. Starting a conversation like this can hopefully prevent children, at the end of the day, children, from being in traumatizing situations with adults. I know this is a more serious video. Talking about predators in general isn't exactly a happy thing to be discussing, but when you're on social media and anybody has access to it, including predators and minors, it's something that needs to be acknowledged, and it shouldn't be hidden, because it needs to stop. I hope you take something from this video, whether you are an adult or a minor. Adults, be wary of who you are talking to, and minors, also, be careful of who's out there, because y'all are vulnerable. Straight up. Thank you for watching.